In this presentation, we're going to record a cash donation within QuickBooks Pro, QuickBooks Desktop. Here we are in our QuickBooks practice file. We currently have the open windows open. You can open the open windows by going to the view dropdown and selecting the open windows list. We're first going to take a look at Excel to see what our objective will be. We're on the second transaction. We're going to record a cash donation. That means that the cash is going to be going up. So if we took a look at this in journal entry form, cash would be increasing. The other side going to the contributions, a revenue kind of account, the revenue account that does not have restrictions. So we want then the cash to be increasing. So we have an increase in cash. We want to be going to the contributions without restrictions increasing in the credit direction. The effect on the net income is net income increasing. This is not a loss. This is income. This is revenue over the expenses. Credits beating the debits here. So that's going to be our objective. Within the QuickBooks system, we also want to be able to track the donor who donated the money, be able to provide a receipt to that donor. So if we go back over to QuickBooks then, to do that, we will typically use the Create Sales Receipt or the Donation tab here. If you're in the not-for-profit, that's going to be Create Sales Receipt, which we have renamed to the donation. This is a form you can provide to the donor, which you could make another template for to make it look nice, like a thank you letter. And then we're going to say this is going to be, let's say, for donor 2. And we'll say it's going to be our second donor, generic name, obviously. And we're going to say that this is going to be the unrestricted, and we're going to put everything in unrestricted into the fundraising as we start out here. So everything's going to go into the fundraising for unrestricted. We're going to scroll through here. I'm going to say this happened on the 2nd. And then we want the item, and it will once again be that donation item that we have set up. The item is what's going to be driving where this is going to be on the income statement. As we see the donation, we know that one account that's going to go up, undeposited funds. The other account that's going to be affected is driven by where we pointed the donation item to go to. That is going to be the contributions without restricted or unrestricted. The amount then is going to be for that $189,700. So we're going to put that in the rate, $189,700. And there we have it. Let's go ahead and record it. We're going to say save and close and see if it does what we would expect it to. We're going to say save and close then. I'm going to say yes, we would like to record that. Then let's take a look at our reports. Typically, I first look at the trial balance. Reports drop down. We then go to the accounting and taxes. We go to the trial balance report, changing the dates up top from 01/01/20 to 12/31/20, January through December 2020. And there we have our increase in the contributions there and an increase to undeposited funds. What we would like to do then is take that undeposited funds, put it into the checking account. Well, that's where we really want it to be. So for that, we're going to go back to the Home tab. We see that there's a little 1 here now for the donation. I'm going to go ahead and click on that and donate it. Now, put it into the checking account. Now, what you want to do is be able to group every time you go to the deposit screen and you put it into the checking account. You want to group the accounts together in the same type of format as will be shown on the bank statement so that you can reconcile the bank statement. So just realize that usually means at the end of the night, if you go and take all your money to the bank, you're going to deposit it. If you deposit it in one lump sum at the bank, then the bank will report it on the bank statement as that one lump sum. That's the same amount that you want to be reported in QuickBooks so that when you compare our QuickBooks file to the bank, it will then reconcile. So I'm going to go ahead and select that item. And we're going to say that's the one we want. I'm going to check that off and say OK. So it connects it out there. We don't want it going to the clearing account. We want it to go into the checking account. So make sure it's going to the checking account and say, okay, I want that to be the default account. It's as of January 2nd. That looks good. Let's say save and close. As we do that, what's it going to do? It's going to be decreasing undeposited funds and put it into the checking account. Let's do that now. Say yes. Back to the trial balance in the open windows. We see that the checking account now has increased. The undeposited funds has gone down. So we basically look like the same items that we have on our trial balance here. Everything looks good there. We also want to be able to track who gave us the money so we have a record of that. we can go to the reports up top in order to check that. Go to the sales. We want to look at the sales by customer detail, which will take that sales line, break it out by who gave it to us, dates 01/01/20 to 12/31/20, and there we have it. We got the donor 1, donor 2. Those would be their names there. If we wanted to give them the receipt or the thank you letter, if we reformat it, we could double click on it, the sales receipt type form. There's the donation. We can print that as a record for them if they need that. So we're going to close this back out, and those are going to be our major objectives. Also note you could check the profit and loss by class as we go through here. Go into the reports up top, go into the company and financial, and then we could check the profit and loss by class report, changing the dates up top from 01/01/20 to 12/31/20. And you'll see we've got the fundraising, which is unrestricted, giving us the total unrestricted because that's all we have under that as well. And then we have the unclassified items, which includes the rent here. Note that the rent then we didn't put to any class. It was in unclassified. Now that's okay because we're gonna go back and reclassify these items later. But I would like to put all these into the class of fundraising and then reclassify. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this. Whenever you see that happen, if anything is in unclassified, it's really easy to note it, to see it, and then you can make the change. And we'll do this later on as we reallocate the percentages as well. But let's double click on this 35,000. Double click on this 35,000. That'll take us to the actual check. Then within the check, I'm just simply going to change the class, and I would like to put the class into fundraising for now. So I'm going to basically put everything to fundraising. You could keep it all in unclassified, and then we're going to adjust it in accordance with the percentages at a later time. So I'm going to say save and close, and say yes, yes, close this back out. And then we have our profit and loss by class. All we have are basically the unclassified, and that of course matches the total, or the unrestricted, which matches the total. And note, only thing in unrestricted right now is going to be that one item. Sometimes it kind of locks up like this, and when that happens, you have to close it. And then go to reports again, company and financial, profit and loss by class, and then dates 01/01/20, 12/31/20, and there it is. So if this kind of feature, which is a really nice feature, if it locks up on you, you can basically just regenerate the report. Only thing in unclassified is the fundraising.